Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be reviewing tips for the removal and replacement of the Vapor Canister Purge Solenoid on this 2024 Kia Sorento with the 2.5 liter non-turbo engine. If you find my tips to be helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment. Now let's get started. The purge valve is located in the center of your screen near the tip of my pointer. Some of the symptoms associated with the faulty valve include rough idle, low engine performance, hard start, low fuel economy, a fuel smell, and increased emissions. You'll also have a check engine light with trouble codes P0441 through P0443, P0446, 7 and 8, P0450, P0452, P0453, and P0455. If the vehicle has over 125,000 miles, I would check the condition of the fuel filler cap to make sure that it's sealing properly. If the cap is not sealing properly, it will give the same trouble code as if the EVAP purge valve was not functioning properly. So you might ask yourself, what does this part do? Well, it controls the flow of fuel vapor from the vapor canister to the intake manifold. Our parts list include a new purge valve if needed, pair of pliers, and a flat tip screwdriver. Please see other items in the description below. So let's move forward with the removal and replacement of the valve. So there are three connections that must be disconnected in order to remove the valve. There's an electrical connector right here. There is a hose connection right there. And then there's a hose connection underneath at the bottom. So in order to remove the electrical connector right here, I'm simply going to press in on this clip, squeeze, and pull it off in that direction. Okay? Now there's a hose connection right here, and you can see that there's green rubber areas on the top and bottom. I'm just going to squeeze, pull towards the valve, and push away from the valve. Just like that. Now, we have a hanger right here, a metal hanger, or I call this the blade. And so it sticks out like this, and the valve kind of slides up onto the blade and rests on the blade. So I'm simply going to wiggle and pull it off of the blade. And so I had a little trouble earlier, so what you'll need to do is use a screwdriver to work it back and forth and pull it off just like that. Okay, lastly, we're going to disconnect the hose connection on the bottom. And so I'm just going to pull it up, push it towards the passenger side of the vehicle. You can see that the hose clamp is now exposed. Squeeze the hose clamp, twist back and forth, and pull it off. And there you have it. There's your purge valve solenoid. So let's quickly go over it, inspect it from top to bottom. And so there's your electrical connector pins. You can see that they're nice and straight. That is your input hose bib connection from the vapor canister. That is your output hose bib connection. That goes to the intake. Right here, inside here, you have a rubber grommet that rests on that blade that I talked about. And so some of the aftermarket vapor canisters may not come with this rubber grommet, so be sure to retain this rubber grommet. You pull it off of the old solenoid and stick it in the new solenoid. Okay, you may need to do that, so don't just throw this away. You may need that grommet. So that's a little pro tip for you. And that's about it. These either work or they don't. Large leak test. You can perform a large leak test by applying a high volume of air to either hose bib for 1 to 2 seconds. If air flows freely through the part, then the part fails the large leak test and must be replaced. Small leak test. You can perform a small leak test by applying 1 psi of air pressure using a pump, hose, and pressure gauge to either hose bib for 10 to 20 seconds. If the air pressure bleeds off slowly, the solenoid fails a small leak test and must be replaced. And it's been my experience that they last anywhere from 60 to 90,000 miles. And that's really all I wanted to say about this. These are pretty durable parts. And with that, let's just go ahead and get this thing reinstalled, okay? So in reverse order, I'm going to make this connection down here. So I'm going to attempt to just squeeze it back onto the hose connection by just holding the hose and pressing down. And yes, I was able to do that. And so now I'm going to hang the solenoid back onto the blade. You'll know when it's far enough onto the blade because the blade will become visible on this side right there, and I can see it. Okay, so next I'm now going to connect what I'm going to call the green hose connection. Just push it up on there, you heard the click. And then lastly, I'm going to reconnect the electrical connector. And I'm always going to look at that rubber gasket right there to make sure it's not deformed. Get the connector in place, slide it on, listen for the click, and there you have it. Well folks, that wraps up the removal and replacement of the vapor canister purge valve on this 2024 Kia Sorento with a 2.5 liter non-turbo engine. I hope you found my tips to be helpful. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, drive defensively.